Offensive in Gaza is increasing. The humanitarian crisis is also deepening. Amid the ongoing operations in Gaza Strip between the Hamas and IDF, caught in the crossfire are the innocents. Civilian casualties also on the rise as Hamas has been using Palestinians as human shields. Two major strikes were witnessed, one at Al-Quds, another at Al-Shifa Hospital. Hamas has claimed that Israeli forces deliberately targeted the hospitals, whereas IDF maintains it has been targeting Hamas' terror tunnel network. The airstrikes come at a time when Israeli troops tighten their encirclement of Gaza city amid continued battles with Hamas as airstrikes wreaked havoc around the city.
אנחנו, כמו שאמרתי, ממוקדים בלחימה בעזה, ממוקדים בלפרק את חמאס. במקביל לדבר הזה, אנחנו מקיימים מאמץ הומניטרי שמובילה אותו מצרים וארצות הברית. אנחנו מעבירים מסעות אחרי שאנחנו בודקים אותם, שיש בהם מים, מזון ותרופות. גם היום סיימנו לבדוק כאלה ומעבירים אותם. גם נתנו דגש שהדבר הזה קורה דרומית לנחל עזה, בחלק הדרומי של הרצועה. יש שתי עזות. עזה בדרום עכשיו, שאנחנו מעבירים ומרכזים בה את כל מי שעבר ומאפשרים טיפול הומניטרי, ובמקביל תוקפים שם. כל מחבלים או מפקדים בכירים שיהיו שם יתקפו. זה אזור בטוח יותר בניהול הלחימה שלנו, ואנחנו מתמקדים בלחימה מורכבת, קשה ומשמעותית בצפון. ומי שלא עבר דרומה, אזרחי עזה שלא עברו דרומה, מסכנים את חייהם ומשפחותיהם, ואנחנו ממשיכים לקרוא להם. תנו דרומה. אנחנו מייצרים מסדרונות לעשות את זה, אנחנו מעצימים מאוד את הלחימה, אתם מסכנים את המשפחות שלכם.
And well, as casualties rise and access to health services is reduced, women and children are also disproportionately bearing the brunt of the violence in the Middle East. In fact, the United Nations is calling for an immediate humanitarian pause to prevent further suffering. A joint statement issued by UNRWA, UNICEF, WHO and UNFPA says that the bombardments damaged or non-functioning health facilities, massive levels of displacement, collapsing water and electricity supplies, as well as restricted access to food and medicines are severely disrupting maternal, newborn and child health services. UN has also claimed that 2,326 women and more than 3,700 children have been killed so far in the Gaza Strip.
The group is united in demonstrating solidarity and support to the Palestinian people and demanding the implementation of the resolution in the General Assembly, calling for the three objectives that we are united around. Number one, immediate ceasefire to save lives. Number two is to have humanitarian assistance of a scale of a minimum of 100 truckloads of assistance to our people. And the third objective of to stop the crime against humanity of forced transfer.
Let's talk about the evidences and the proof as IDF claims it has been putting out for the world to see. The civilians, of course, bearing the brunt of the war. IDF continues to target Hamas hideouts, that explosions near hospitals are taking place amid airstrikes, and that's what is being called as human rights violation in Gaza, that civilian casualties reportedly post the airstrikes are taking place. And these are some of the visuals as well. Though the IDF, remember, claims that there are underground tunnels that the Hamas continue to use, and several of these tunnels, in fact, are going under several such hospitals, educational facilities, so on and so forth. And hence, it is Hamas that continues to use innocent civilians in the Gaza Strip as cannon fodder, as human shields. So that's the kind of war of words that's really being witnessed. But yes, the entire world is watching the kind of humanitarian crisis that is being witnessed and the large-scale civilian deaths that also continue to be witnessed in Gaza Strip. Now, the IDF has claimed that for years, Hamas uses ambulances to get around Gaza. Now, IDF has also released some videos from 2014 showing two terrorists using an ambulance to flee a gunfight with the IDF. The other videos show IDF calling off a strike as Hamas terrorists boarded an ambulance filled with civilians, including children. Let's quickly, on that note, open this up with our experts joining us this evening. We have Dr Eyal Pinko, who's also ex-senior intelligence officer, cyber and national security expert with us. Also with us is Nivine Sanduoka, regional chief of staff, Alliance for Middle East Peace. I want to first up begin with Nivine. Nivine, how do you see this? Because there are a lot of concerns growing around what's happening in Gaza Strip, but IDF continues to maintain that it is the Hamas that is choosing to place these people in the line of fire. It is the Hamas that continues to use innocent civilians in Gaza Strip as human shields.
So, first of all, it's, as you mentioned, it's the civilians who are paying the highest price on both sides, I have to say, of this conflict. You have got displacement on both sides. But just to mention that even when Palestinians are seeking shelter, like yesterday, there were families moving from the north of the Gaza Strip towards the south of Gaza Strip, and they were hit by an airstrike. The images were horrendous that we actually saw. If there are evidences that there are such things as Hamas using people as human shields, I didn't see any one person saying that we have killed this person in this airstrike that is considered to be Hamas. It's kind of like right now it's considered to be as collective punishment, and also the proof of that is what's happening in the West Bank as well. The West Bank there's no Hamas using any human shields in the West Bank, yet we have more than 130 people who were killed, civilians who were killed in the West Bank since October 7th as well. The police and the all the practices that has been taking place in East Jerusalem and the West Bank as well, there are no human shields. But yet we are seeing these increasing violations of human rights in all of occupied Palestine. And
okay, you're saying there's no proof essentially to establish the fact that innocent civilians are being used as human shields by the Hamas. Is that what you're saying?
I'll tell you something. I'm not kind of like an intelligent person, but I know that Israel is one of the highest country in the world that has very sophisticated intelligence and very sophisticated equipment as well. I'm sure they can give us evidence and they can provide names and they can show us videos of how the Hamas is being using civilians as human shields.
Okay, but Dr. Pinko, hasn't the IDF been posting such videos of how there are underground tunnels, underground networks that the Hamas is using, and several of them actually running beneath hospitals, educational institutions, so on and so forth? How would you respond to Ms. Nivine's concerns?
Yes, the IDF showed many cases and many evidence showing clearly, without any doubt, that Hamas is using schools, kindergartens, hospitals in order to put inside all their weapon, ammunition and things. The IDF showed for many years, something like 15 years, the IDF is showing how those brutal Hamas ISIS are putting in front of them, they put women and children, that they will be the human shields. It's not a new thing. It's a very old one. We saw that all the time when they tried for many times to move the fence and to go out of the fence. The IDF showed many evidence that below the Shifa hospitals, your reporters, were there as well, showing that below the Shifa hospitals there are 5 floors of terrorists with ammunition, with guns. This is what they do below hospitals.
But Dr. Pinko, isn't the next obvious question that's going to be asked to the IDF, is that then in that case, why is it that a ground assault is being carried out? It's particularly for this reason that minimum civilian casualties witnessed on ground.
Yes, because Hamas ISIS is putting there as human shields, Israel understands that this is the way to win this war and to end this Hamas ISIS regime in the Gaza Strip, which is not occupied. My friend here, my colleague here said occupied Palestine. Gaza is not occupied. Gaza is being ruled for 15 years by Hamas. There is no Israeli over there except of the one that were kidnapped by Hamas ISIS. So they are doing that. They are ruling in a very brutal way the territory over there. And today there was a video that was published. I can send it to you over after that, showing that Hamas is firing their Palestinian people when they try to escape from the northern part to the south part. Okay. Israel declared and Israel warned the people to go south. Hamas didn't allow them. They took
quick 30 seconds to Nivine as well. Nivine, Dr. Pinko says that not only is Hamas using innocent civilians as human shields, placing them in the line of fire, but also attempting to block their passage to the southern part of the enclave. that IDF has in fact been providing humanitarian corridors and Hamas are not letting people escape?
Let's talk about first of all the humanitarian aid, because it was mentioned. In the sense of humanitarian aid that's it's allowed into Israel, first of all, only 330 trucks were allowed to enter into Gaza Strip carrying basic humanitarian needs, while the need is a minimum of 100 humanitarian trucks per day. So we're keeping also a population at the minimum of survival over there. There is a much dire need to offer more humanitarian aid into Gaza as well. As per your question, we have seen only civilians that are being targeted. When you hit Jabalia with a bomb, with a refugee camp with a bomb, I am pretty sure that Israel has one of the most sophisticated defense mechanisms in the world, very sophisticated targeting killing machines. If it was allowed to grow for 15 years, and you know it has been growing for 15 years, then why didn't you do something 15 years ago? Why did you allow it to reach this stage?
Okay, you're seeking more proof from the IDF. Dr. Pinko says that IDF has been putting out enough proof, ample proof to really bust Hamas's claim. More than that, they're saying, why should the IDF believe the Hamas or world believe Hamas? As far as the death toll is concerned, there are those from the IDF who've come out to tell us here on Times Now that 10,000 plus may be the figure that the Hamas wants the world to believe, and that's not really the reality. Let's see how this plays out, really hoping for the best, especially for civilians who continue to face the heat of this absolutely uncalled for war. Dr. Eyal Pinko and Nivine, many thanks for speaking to us here on Times Now. With that, we head into a very short break.